Hello, everybody. It's Alex, your career coach here at Uvaro, and we are back with another career coaching series topic. And today we are focusing on how to wipe off that objectives section on your resume and what are the objectives of your resume and to put back on there instead of just, hey, I am somebody who is looking for a really great job in an environment like this. Now, who are we? We are Uvaro. We are an online tech sales training hub, and we focus directly on increasing your value in your career. And whether that's coaching specifically, whether that's training in sales, we provide one-on-one mentoring. We do a paid internship and apprentice program. We do deferred tuition. We've got career services, aka me, and lifetime support for our members. So if you want to inquire a little bit more, please make sure that you shoot a message out to me or hang out onto our website so you can get more information and we can chat together about what this means for you and your career. What does this tutorial cover today? So why is the objectives section on your resume outdated, and what can you replace it with to really grab attention of hiring managers? In the tech industry specifically, there is an air of competition. There's so much opportunity out there, but we need to be able to stand out. So people looking at hundreds of resumes can go, wow, that was good. I'm really interested to learn more. So we're going to go through why taking out the objectives section that just sits on the top of your resume is in your best interest. What do you do with all the new space on your resume? And how do you add a little bit more delight? So I'm going to go ahead and actually stop screen sharing for a minute so you can see me. And this isn't going to be a long tutorial today. This is more of a conversation, so saddle up, get a coffee, hot chocolate, tea, something, whatever that makes you feel good to come in and listen and really think about how to present yourself well. So traditionally, or picture this, I should say, you've got a resume template in front of you. Traditionally, it has the, objectives section on the top. So typically that is, my name is Alyx Parks, and I am looking for an environment that's collaborative. I'm a professional in career coaching, and I'm hoping to land at a place that idolizes culture and development, la, 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 la. So here's the thing. When a talent manager or hiring manager or somebody who's looking at your resume looks at that, they are going like this. They are looking at your resume and going, well, obviously, yeah, okay, and then they skip it. But I want everybody to think of something very specific here. How do people read, right? How do they read? Do they read from the bottom to the top and then from the right to the left? No. We read literally from left to right and then from the top to the bottom. So the very first section under your name is actually one of the most important sections of your entire resume. So I want you to think of humans have a very short attention span, very short. It's enough to rival the goldfish. It really is. And I actually just learned that the goldfish actually have a much longer memory, and they can even go ahead and recognize their humans, which is so odd. More about this in later classes. But our attention span is short. Now, I want you to picture again, this talent manager or hiring manager or recruiter or whoever it is that you're looking to engage, they're looking at hundreds of these a day, right? So they literally will go and they'll take this and go, Alyx Parks, okay, objective, all right, skip, experience, and okay. If you have a cover letter, probably skipped. Again, in another class, we're going to be talking about how to actually explode what a cover letter might look like and how different ways that it is that you can do that. So definitely keep tuned for this. But what this looks like is a scanner. Somebody scans and they whip through it. And so that very first bucket, that section at the top, is what's called a hook, right? You need to get them into focus and see you right in the beginning. And so that objective section, we got to take it off. Take it off entirely, and we've got to replace it. Okay, we need to replace it with something that's interesting, that's short, concise, and completely engaging. And so what this looks like is actually a section that's entitled About Me or Summary. I personally like About Me a little bit better. I think the summary leads you a little bit more to summarize your experience. And I think that's a great thing to do, but we need to capture attention in order to get them to the next box, which will be your experience section, right? That's the bulk of what we need them to see. And so the About Me is there, and it's there for you to be able to give some insight into who you are, not only at work, but outside of it. For myself, I am a voracious fly fishing guide who you could constantly find in the river, and I am also taking these learnings into my career coaching expertise. Done. And then they move on. Because all of a sudden they can go, oh, that's interesting. Okay, and career coaching. And then they'll go ahead and they'll read next. Okay, so I want you to focus on that. Now, I'm setting you up for our next series. So our next in line, I believe, will be next month, and it's going to be focused on actually crafting that About Me. So how do you do that, and how does it stand out? How do you make it do so? And so we've wiped off the objectives section already. We've put on an About Me section instead, but the next objectives of your resume, in order to craft it, is the next section, is your experience, okay? And so many people go ahead and they craft their experience section and just write bullet points of what their job description is. So tell me if this sounds familiar. I'm a career coach at Uvaro. I am tasked to coach all classes on a 12-week program, starting from personal branding all the way to interview prep. I am focused on crafting one-on-ones that are very specific to each individual. I am focused on data and metrics. I am also somebody who is looking to drive and accelerate careers in a matter of meaning. Great. That is things that I'm supposed to do, right? But we want to talk more about how to quantify your experience and what you've accomplished. Okay, what have you done that stands out and that's interesting? Always remember the tip. People read from top to bottom, and they scan. And so the first thing that you need to put in your experience section under each title, your first bullet, must be that quantification of accomplishment, right? So something like myself, I would say, have been able to have coached over 600 individuals to 80% success rate post-graduation from month 3 to 6. Okay, that is something that is an accomplishment and that I've done. Now, under that, I can start writing a little bit more about how I did that, what that task looked like. But you've got the winning metric in the beginning, and then you've got a descriptor below of how it is you do that, unless you've got more accomplishments that you want to write. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because it is a complete game changer, and you will feel more confident, and you'll have a lot more conviction in sending out a resume if you are talking directly about who you are, replacing the objectives with your About Me, and how you did what you did. It's all about how, it's all about why. Okay? Now, the third thing that I want to focus on, the bottom of your resume. Your bottom of your resume is going to hold your tech tools or your tech stack or your just tools for working. So whether you're in different industries, or you're in tech or in finance or whatever, what are the tools that you use? But the next section, oh, I wish I could paint this picture for you. But the next section is going to look like hobbies. Okay, so typically it looks like, about me section, then you've got your experience section, you've got your education under that, you've got your tool set under that, and then usually there's a little bit of a blank spot on the right-hand side, whether maybe people put their references or their contact information. But there are ways in Canva, like we've talked about before, to be able to move things around, move elements around in your resume to make room for more items. Now, on the bottom right, I love to put a hobbies section. Now, and I've had quite a few people that, I work with and outside and friend groups that always say, I never have hobbies on there. Why would I put that? It's my professional resume. But you would be so surprised at how many people will go and they'll take a look and they'll scan, and in their quick scan before they dive in, they will take a look at that hobby section and read it first. It's amazing. It's really amazing on what that looks like. And why? Why do you think that happens? We're human. We do things outside of work. There are times where we sit there and go, oh my goodness, I am so tired. That couch over there looks super good. I might put on some Netflix and eat some Cheetos. People are thinking this, even during their workday. And so something of delight that pops up to them, that's something like, oh, this person likes to fly fish outside of work. This person also really likes to uncover raw gemstones and polish them. I've never heard of that before. That's interesting. Cool. What happens when somebody looks at your resume and goes, cool? That is a call to action, and it is an invitation to look longer at what's in your resume. It is a fascinating thing, and we're really talking today about how humans read and what they go through mentally when they look at a resume. And it is not just, okay, I'm just looking for professional stuff. It isn't. Remember, people have to spend 8 to 10 hours a day with you. And so they're really looking for indications of that being something that they would want to do. So writing a couple bullet points on your hobbies, maybe in Canva, adding a little element of delight. For example, my personal resume, I have a transparent little hook on it because of my fly fishing. I also had a little fish there. And so people will see that and they'll be like, oh, that's interesting, that's delightful. But you can do it in any way that you possibly can. Canva is there. It's got a bunch of different elements. It's got really cool templates for you to really vibe with and figure out, what does that look like for me? But the main guts of this, take the objectives section, take objectives off and replace it with about me and talk about yourself. And we're going to do that next time. The next section, make sure that you are quantifying what you've done, if you can, in your experience. Put it as a first bullet so people are like, wow, they've accomplished that. That's pretty good. And it compels them to read more. And then at the bottom, add an item of delight like hobbies. Allow people to see through that window of who you are and picture what it is that you do. And you never know. I've had people say, I am an absolute dog mother. I am a plant person. And so many people go, oh, me too. That me too is essential. It's essential for you in order to create a bond, even if it's just through a piece of paper. Okay, so we do have some questions. I'm going to screen share one more time. Okay. A quick Q&A here. Somebody asked me earlier, how do you make your About Me more impactful? Okay, and I want to make sure you guys know that we are doing this in our next career coaching series. It is specifically on how to really make that About Me pop. But again, I want you to write this down. You've got to keep it short concise, and engaging. That is the formula. Okay, so something that is going to set the stage for somebody to read your resume or to listen to you and picture who it is you are, what it is that you do, and what you're looking to achieve. Okay, you can keep this professional, but I want you to make sure that you're focusing on how the other person, how your audience is taking in this information. I always focus on the fact that my fly fishing career and my career intersect and they connect, and I cannot be one without the other. That is what is so deeply important to me. Guiding people in a river to pull something out of it that they might not even be able to see is directly related to guiding somebody throughout their career to help them pull something in that they might not have been able to see, but they are incredibly excited to achieve and to meet. Okay, so I want you to take the time before we get to our next session on really deeply understanding what you do outside of work and how it connects with what you do at work. Okay, great question, and we're going to really get into the thick of it next time. Now, question number 2, what does it mean by leading with metrics? You know, specifically, what does that mean? Like, the metrics word can be a little bit confusing. And so I really, again, this one is just specifically in your experience section. Let's say, for example, you have retail experience. Well, I had somebody say to me earlier, you know, I just have retail experience. You know, I worked at Jacob Connection. How do I put that on my resume? You know, it's retail. That is amazing experience. Okay, and so typically when you go and you're working, you have a goal, you have something that you're looking to achieve, right? And so what they needed to do is every day they needed to hit $1,500 in sales. Okay, and so every day that they worked, depending on your schedule. And so what that meant is they could successfully put on their resume that was able to achieve quota of $20,000 per month hit. Okay, so that's leading by a metric. That's leading by an accomplishment that you've done, right? I was successfully able to lead a team to this destination. Think about the things that you've done, that you won at, like my own, you know. I have a very long sales cycle, typically, when it comes to coaching, because it can take some time in order to get somebody to where they want to be. And so I had to take, you know, the number of people that I've coached and the percentage of those successful over a period of time to get my success rate. Okay, so it's whether it's in sales and you're looking for your success rate, or whether it's in something else, maybe you're in customer service or customer success. How many of those customers were successful? How many did you help? What did that look like? And so if you think and break it down more than just a job description of what you were tasked to do, you're going to see much more success than you would have originally thought. Because typically people don't seem and they don't lead with, hey, what have I done to actually impact my role? I hope that helps, but I want you guys to go ahead and on these pieces of paper that you've got, I want you to write down the things that you've done, that you've accomplished, and that you're proud of. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be in a job, right? It can be with anything. But get your juices flowing and start thinking more about that, and it's going to really open up your scope of success. Now, my last one. Will people even care about my hobbies? Will people even care about my hobbies, or is it too personal? This is a good one, and I get asked this, I think, every class that I teach. Some folks are really too nervous to put anything personal on their resume, to deep dive into anything, because they don't want to come across as somebody who's, you know, unprofessional. But I also want everybody here to make sure that they write down the word professional and then try and write the definition of it. Okay, so the definition of professional I find is very difficult because it is very specific to each individual. It's very specific to each um, industry, into each company, into each position, right? It's very, very different. And so I want you to start writing a bunch of definitions on what that looks like, but always bring it back and think, is it okay if I talk about, hey, I've got a hobby of collecting gemstones, or I'm constantly outside and hiking, or I'm in the rivers? You know, maybe you really like video games, right? There's a lot of people out there that love all of these things. So if you can write something down that you think connects to quite a few people, that is the ultimate goal, right? You are relating to a reader. So if I said, I am an Australian Shepherd owner, my dog runs my life, we're outside all the time, and she loves Frisbee, something like that. A fun fact, something about you that's outside of work, how many people do you think would look at that and go, I have an Aussie, or oh, I a neighbor does, or I have a dog and I'm outside playing Frisbee? It just makes you human. It allows them to take a look at who you are outside of just work, and it becomes a more delightful experience to read that resume. So I promise you, this is going to catch a heck of a lot more people than people saying that's unprofessional. We are no longer in that world. We are in the world of remote and being able to connect with as many people as we can, especially in tech. Okay, so please keep your mind open and connect with me on LinkedIn directly. And I would love to see any of these questions or any of these thoughts or any of these bulleted hobbies that you might be worried about putting onto your resume, and then we can go through them together. So please be sure to connect with me at Alyx Parks on LinkedIn. I am the career coach here at Uvaro, and this has been very fun. So what is next? Please, for more information about the course, as we talked about earlier, check out uvaro.com/course. And we do have some new events that are coming up. Step into Tech is our 2-hour tech sales masterclass. I personally am very connected with Step into Tech. I love it. It is every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST. And here you can learn everything that you need to know to land a great sales job in the software industry. It is a really good stepping stone to understand how we teach, what it is we teach, and why we teach it. And we're also happy to talk about the people who are successful that come through our programs. Our next live tutorial, as I keep chatting about, it is going to be focused on crafting that About Me section. That is the career coaching series. It is Wednesday, December 15th at 12 p.m. EST, and I cannot wait to see everybody there. Please come with all your questions, all your thoughts, and please know that this is a tougher thing to do. You want to focus on being short, concise, and engaging. Allow people to peek through that window of who you are, not just what you do. And I can't wait to see you. Bye, everybody.